Was easy money.
All right, here we are with episode 2 of the Golden Valley Views. Luke is late, but we're here, Owens and I, and 5-0, buddy boy. How you feel?
We're feeling real good about 5-0. Had no idea this would happen going into the season, so I'm just kind of riding the wave.
Literally riding the wave. We were just saying it was optimistic for us to think 4 wins, okay? And this has all culminated to us now being taken off the list of schools not to have hosted College Game Day, as College Game Day and Pat McAfee will be coming here this weekend for the TCU game. And we'll get to that a bit later. But this was a sloppy game. Okay. We won because their kicker sucked. And I mean, also our defense showed up a little bit, but our offense could not get anything going. And I don't know, have you heard anything on Daniel Highshaw's injury?
I heard speculation that it's another
Yeah,
hip injury, but I mean, that's pretty much all I've heard. Just kind of speculation from fans.
That's what I've heard too. And Luke has joined us. And yeah, I've heard speculations that it is a hip injury. And when it occurred, I saw it and they were holding his leg into place. And I did a quick Google search, and that's typical for a hip injury, but it also is typical for hamstring too. So it seems like a hip because we knew he tore his hip. Hopefully Highshaw's all right. But thankfully we got Kai Thomas and Sevion Morrison on reserve right there who have shown their ability, and Devin Neal's a beast. But takeaways from this game, you wrote in the chat a great few. We'll start off with your first one, and fourth downs for offensive defense. Okay. On offense, we've had some really good go for it on fourth downs. On defense, we've had trouble stopping fourth down on offense. I mean, like opposing offenses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So
You go first, Owen. Sorry.
uh, I was just thinking defensively, like we need to bring some heat or something on fourth downs. Like I know you don't want to give up the big play, but really just force their hand. Like, I don't know, bring it. But we need to do something. Four out. Yeah, I think I would say what 4 for 5 on fourth downs. Like
Yep,
they gone for it at the end of the game, but we
they just continued to make them because, like, one thing that I noticed that we struggled with is a lot of their fourth downs were like 4th and 6, 4th and 5, and a lot of the ways that they got their fourth downs is because our receivers just aren't like pressing, like we're giving them too much space, we're sagging off, and it's giving them like free drag routes and free free check downs to the running back. And it's just letting them easily convert opportunities in space because they don't need to get a touchdown. They just want to keep the drive going.
No, I completely agree, and I think our team, one of the good things is that we've done a good job of having a secondary that's opportunistic and has been opportunistic at the right times, and we've been fortunate that we haven't been burnt by it yet. But I think something that is the reason we've had struggles on fourth down, something just started playing in my ear and it like freaked me out. But this problem with us on fourth downs is we have no pass rush. And we were hyping up that Lonnie Phelps, like he had some moments. Okay, he's had some moments during the season, but Chase Young,
We
they're
did have a few sacks that got called back by penalties, though.
yeah.
So,
And that's another thing. Penalties have killed us, but we need to be able to consistently on get pressure, especially on important downs, which is I think something that has held us from
yeah.
happening.
And like, I think the thing about the whole like press cover, the not having press coverage and like on fourth down and stuff, at least that aspect of our defense, that's not so much on the secondary as it is on like the scheme. Like, that aspect on fourth downs needs to change. But
Owens?
I mean, I don't think fourth downs would drive me as crazy if it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and their line beat our line. But we were just leaving a running back uncovered, and it was a scheme thing, and just it was like, all right, check down, and then they scampered 10 yards down the field. And that's why I think I got so frustrated with it.
Why is that? Like, what do you think's our biggest detriment on defense and why we haven't had the success? And then we'll move over to offense.
I think our biggest like weakness on defense is we're afraid to get beat deep and afraid to take chances. I mean, Kobe Bryant, he does a great job with trying to be aggressive, but I feel like he's one of the few that is willing to take a chance out there and go make a play.
Luke?
Uh, yeah, like part of it is like I think a lot of it is the scheme. Like I just think like the defense, 'cause, again, it shows flashes and they do make plays sometimes, like in terms of being opportunistic. But I think gradually over the course of the season, hopefully, you know, because the thing about defense is you have to be willing to adjust coverages and schemes situationally. And after the first fourth downs or short third downs where they got check downs and drag routes, you got to have somebody, at least if you're not going to play press man, you have to have at least somebody in the flat, because you can't keep getting beat by the same type of plays.
Sarah, I think you're muted.
I muted. I had
Yeah, I
myself
can hear
muted.
you.
Yeah, so I completely agree. And I think, being afraid is something that is huge. I think we do play a very conservative brand of defense. We kind of take what the offense gives us and we try to neutralize it as much as possible. And I know, that's a solid defense. But once for, a solid defensive approach to use for right now, but it's going to be, we saw it tested now. We're going to see it tested in the next few weeks.
Against teams with better offenses,
Yeah,
that approach will not work.
exactly. And this is where we move on to the next part, is that on offense, I think one of our concerns, in my opinion, is when you look at this team on offense, it happened. I said this last week, and it was one of my concerns due to the fact that with our offense being a run-oriented read option, RPO, the day that we were going to be forced to pass the ball, it was going to be a struggle. And we kind of saw it today after that first, second touchdown. We didn't move much. Why? Because they were forcing us to throw the sticks and we couldn't move up the field consistently, just throwing the sticks. We're a good play action RPO. Let's get an intermediate bomb in there. But when, we're told to go, let's throw the Grim 5 times, 6 times, or Arnold, and we have the tight ends to do it off, but we don't have the wide receivers. I think our tight ends are fine, but when our tight ends aren't getting open, we don't have the receivers, I think, to make plays in space.
Yeah. I don't know if you looked at the stats from yesterday's game, but Arnold didn't have a reception. Like, yeah, that like I was looking at it, I was just like, why isn't he on the like stat sheet? Like he played, I saw him in there. He had targets, but he didn't have any receptions, which was difficult and kind of frustrating. But we need to get in there and we got to pass the ball a little more. We had 15 total attempts. A few of them got wiped out because of penalties, but still, we got to attempt more throws than 15.
Yeah, we had 8 throws. Yeah, we had 15 throws. We had 8 completions. Okay, that was horrendous, and we need more Jason Bean. We had one play called back, but what was it? I think it was a 30-yard scamper he had.
It was that 3rd and 9, and that we were in field goal range, and we ended up punting.
Yeah, but he literally took it like I think maybe 15, 20 yards.
Yeah, he got us like inside the red zone.
And we need more of that. We see flashes of it. We need to get more of that. I'm even thinking about put him on a lineup as wide receiver and run a jet screen or a reverse, not a jet screen, a jet sweep or a reverse jet sweep with him.
They had that one play which I really liked is when they had Jason Bean, Jalen Daniels dual quarterback, where what's his face, JD handed it off to Jason Bean, and then Jason Bean threw it. That was a cool play. Like we need more of that. Especially if you need to pick up like 3 yards on like a 4th down. Like I know they have plays lined up for it. Like I also Lance normally, for a guy who's been great at going for it on 4th down, there was a couple of decisions where he should have, even though the offense was struggling, he should have trusted his offense out there. Like there was one where it was on the 40-yard line and it was like 4th and 5, and we were on Iowa State's 40, and he chose to punt, and it literally bounced into the end zone, so we gained nothing from it. It was basically a 20-yard punt, and for a guy that's normally been aggressive on 4th down, you would have liked to have seen him go for it there.
Makes sense. So that comes into, you think our biggest weakness is penalties?
I think it's the
It's
biggest thing holding us back. Because when we played disciplined ball against Houston, we just manhandled them. Like we didn't have any issues. But the games where we've had some penalties, it's come back to hurt us more than more than you'd expect. I mean, I guess they're penalties for a reason, but
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 weeks now, I know there's, say what you will about the questionable part of the calls, but this is 2 games in a row now where penalties have given other teams, like in Duke's case, a chance to tie, and in Iowa State's case, many chances to win.
That's the thing is it's not on offense. I think we'll have one or two a game, but I think that's every team in every sport will have, one or two offensive holdings or anything. That's just even you see that in the NFL. It happens on a weekly basis. You can't do anything about that. Even the best guys do it once or twice. But the big thing, I think, yeah, defense. We've had, like you said, we probably would have over 10 sacks over the past 3 weeks combined if we didn't have so many penalties. And it's just, I think it's just us being, I don't know if it's too, I think eagerness. I think they're just, getting too antsy. Maybe I'm wrong. I think this is a very well coached team. And I don't think that these penalties are a result of them being a lack of fundamentals. I think it's more of, ants, like you're just jitter, like they're just, like so much adrenaline running through you. You need to make a play. You need to make a play that you just slip up for a second. That's obviously you need to train yourself not to do that. But
yeah, I feel like the penalties at the end of the game, the holding call, uh, that put us. It was 1st and 10 from the 25 minutes left, something like that. We get a holding call to move back to the 10, and then a lineman was an eligible receiver downfield. That put us back another 5 yards, and it was just like, what are we doing? Like, because I think on that 1st and 20, we had to pass to Mason Fairchild that went for like 18 of those 20 yards. It was like, okay, we're moving the ball, like things are gonna be okay, but then 1st and 25, just all right, run it 3 times and we're gonna punt.
Yeah, and
exactly.
we had another one. I remember it was one of the Iowa State drives where it was like they had like a third and like long, like 20 or like 18 or something like that. And we got a sack, but Malcolm, I think it was Malcolm Lee, it was one of the guys playing end at the time. He may or may not have, it was really close, but he barely, I think, jumped offside, negated the sack. Iowa State gets 5 yard penalty, and then they get it to fourth and short, and then they convert it on fourth down immediately after that drive. Like, that's just a penalty where you can't. He tried to make a play. He wanted to jump the snap and make a sack, but that eagerness, it cost us on that drive, or it almost did if the kicker didn't miss the field goal. But
Yeah, I rewatched that one. I still think he timed it perfectly. Like
it was really close. But
it,
ugh,
it's my bias that probably thinks that it was.
yeah, that's what I thought watching it in real time. But man, like it's just one of those where it's hard to tell. And you never know. Like he put himself in a position to probably have that called.
So with that being said, going into next week against TCU, I mean, we just let Deckers look like, what is it, 100 Deckers? He literally looked like an NFL quarterback going 30 for 48 on us. And I know he didn't have a pretty game. He was averaging 6 per completions, but I think going into this TCU game against Max Dugan, this guy is a threat. And I think first off, we discussed it here. If we're going to win this game, nope, we can't have the bullshit penalties we've had this past game. But what are your guys' keys to success this coming weekend so we can beat I almost says Iowa again, but TCU, the Texas Christian? What is it? Horned Frogs?
Horned Frogs. Uh, honestly, I'm terrified going into this game. I think they're gonna put up points, and so our offense has to be clicking. Defense, you first force a turnover too. We win the turnover battle, and our offense is clicking. I think we're in good shape, but I think this is going to be a very, very high scoring game.
Yeah, it's got all the makings of a shootout. And their quarterback, Max Dugan, he's been playing really well. And look, Obviously, the crowd's going to be rocking. You know, KU having a home crowd is something we haven't had in a long time. And I think that will help, especially with game day. And of course, the players will be ready for it. But like this TCU team, that was their first like legit test. And for us, this is the best team we've played by far. So we'll know a lot more about our team after this week.
Yeah, no, I think our offense can beat TCU's defense. TCU's defense doesn't scare me. You know, my one thing is the only thing that scares me is hopefully the running game will be fine. And, you know, even though we've only seen Kai Thomas in limited attempts, hopefully Kai Thomas and Serbion Morrison and Terry Laughlin, who's been a great pass catching guy, can help out the offense. I think the offense will be fine. I think we'll get more creative, you know, and Andy Kolnecki is gonna go back into the office and write up some more creative plays. And that's where I come into. Are we really the like with this team? We're going into TCU and they made us college game day. Do you think us being ranked 19 is gonna hurt us in the game? Like hurt our players? I mean, they posted the you know the curse of the TikTok is happening because they posted it. Well, what are your guys' thoughts? Us being 19, what is the momentum going into this game? And this is our first true test. I mean, obviously, if we win this game, I mean, there's a lot of momentum going into this game for us as a school that if we win this game, we could lose every other game for the rest of the season and still be in a bowl game. This game is arguably the most important game in KU football history. And part of the reason probably college game day is coming here because they know if KU wins this game, we're bowl eligible.
Um, I don't think being 19 hurts the team or like the mentality of our guys because honestly, I think being 26 last week made it worse because we got so much national hype about Kansas should be ranked and just all these platforms going off on that. So I think being 19 is like, all right, we're ranked. It's just what it is. Like no one's given us as much national hype. I know college game day is coming, which is awesome. But I don't think being 19 hurts us. I don't think we're the 19th best team in the country. I think we're probably somewhere in the 30s, if I'm going to be honest. Like, we're a good team. We got a shot against anyone, but we're not. It's the O with our record, the 5-0, no losses. That's why we're ranked right now.
I mean, I have a hard time believing that we're not better than. Okay, look, I think that we're better than a lot of the other teams in like the bottom of like below us in the top 25 pool. But I think you are right. Maybe we aren't in the top 25 teams in the country. Maybe not. But being in the rankings won't affect how the team plays. It's a ranked matchup. It's a top 25 matchup. We knew that they were going to be a good team, and it's just going to be like the Iowa State game. We just got to beat who's in front of us, and then we get the monkey off our back and be bowl eligible. And we go into the road trip against Baylor and Oklahoma with some real momentum.
That's very true. I mean, those are good points. Yeah, I just think this is the craziest game of all time for us as, you know, my senior year now. You know, the biggest game before this was either the home game was the T-Tech game where like we somehow upsetted them. But all in all, I tweeted out today, and this is how we'll wrap up the show. KU this season, the Big 12 is probably looking at KU and saying thank you, because every win, every game, we're making that media deal go up in value. Because it used to be, oh, we would give you this much, but KU football. But now it's just like you can't really use it as excuse. So everybody's probably trying to sign a deal rather quickly because of this. Thoughts?
I think this might be sparking KU to the Big Ten. Like, I know the Big 12 might be using this a little bit as leverage to get that media deal. And if KU stays, fantastic for the Big 12. But I mean, everyone was saying over the summer when KU was kind of in panic mode, like, do we stay? Do we go? Do we want to try to go somewhere?
We wouldn't even get
KU
in.
football is KU football.
No, if our football program was semi passable, like if like slightly better than Rutgers, not even like Rutgers is in the Big Ten, and they're not even close. They're like not even close.
We
to
don't
as good
have
as
the
basketball.
academic prestige. We are a 90%
But with
acceptance
our
rate.
elite, with an elite basketball, like with an elite, I guess the academic prestige is part like it, but like with an elite basketball program and a good football program, certainly the TV draw would be good.
We don't have the academic prestige, but we still are an AAU school, which is very important to the Big Ten.
Yes.
Like our acceptance rate is high, but we're an AAU school, and that's kind of what they care about.
I mean, you can change the acceptance rate, but yeah, we are research. So, any closing thoughts? What is your guys? So, closing thoughts right here for the show. My prediction for the score 51-48 KU.
I don't want to get in any score predictions because I don't know how this game's going to turn out. But I think both teams will probably score. I think one team will be like, it'll be like a low 40s to high 30s kind of game. I really don't want to say that TCU is going to pull it out, but my God, that Oklahoma game scared me. So I think I'm going to have to go 42-38 TCU.
You suck it off. You're
I
kicked.
hate it. I hate it. I'm muting myself.
If you're not watching on YouTube, if you saw mine and Luke's face when Ciro said that score prediction, that was priceless. But I'm thinking 45-38 TCU. We have the ball.
No
going
faith
down
in
the
here.
field. We got the ball going down the field in the fourth quarter. Got to get a touchdown and turn it over at like the 20.
All right. What a Debbie Downers you two are to close off the show. But that's it, guys. Golden Valley Views is what we decided to call this, a KU football podcast. If you guys enjoyed, be a friend and tell a friend. I'll see you boys over the next week.
All right. Take care, boys.
All right. Take it easy.
Rock chalk.
Peace. Rock chalk.
Chalk.